goes the record, and I am not kicking your intro. So here goes the encoder, and you are good to go.
Welcome to the Drawing Board Podcast with your founder and host, Andre Ebron. Listen, I'm excited tonight. You can tell I have the HBCU bands in the background. Shout out to all the HBCUs. Howard University specifically is playing tonight. And listen, today is the 100th show. Let's make some noise. I'm excited. And listen, I could not have done this without your support. I could not have done this without your prayers, without your continuous encouragement, without your comments and your just everything that you've done to make this show a success. And listen, tonight we're doing something totally new. We're relaunching the Drawing Board Podcast with 3 new hosts. I know you're excited to meet them. And listen, some of you may already know them. Greg Starks with Sensible Politics is now a host on the Drawing Board Podcast with Starks Reality. You may know him as Wally Richburg, Darius McCaskill, the founder of and CEO of many businesses, but the Viger Corp, which has always been a support of the Drawing Board Nation, the Drawing Board Podcast. In fact, behind the scenes, you didn't know that the Viger Group was working and helping the Drawing Board Nation reach its current state of success. And then some of you all know him as Fresh Laundry. If you're from Fort Wayne, Indiana, or St. Louis, you may know him as Theophilus Smith III. Hey, listen, welcome to the show, Fresh Laundry. Oh yeah, I'm turned tonight. Am I sideways? Can you tell? I'm excited. You sideways. I'm excited tonight. Let me go ahead and turn the music down. Listen, we are going to have an exciting time tonight. And so let me calm the excitement for just a second to say, listen, we are at 100th. This is our 100th show. We made it 100 shows, guys. And listen, let me give you the statistics to help you understand how important this is. Now, you know, I'm all gas, no brakes. So when I get a vision from God, listen, I'm moving forward, all right? There may be some obstacles, but it's all gas, no brakes. And most podcasts, believe it or not, don't make it past their 10th show. So for us to 10x it, to be at 100 shows, listen, I'm just thanking God and happy to be here. So let me go ahead and do it justice. And let me bring the other host on, not my guests. These gentlemen are my brothers and in some way have supported the movement of the Drawing Board Nation. So let me start. I've known Gregory Starks, who is actually my cousin, but we call each other brothers. I've known him practically all my life, from playing baseball as kids at Village to, listen, I was going to Northrop and he was going to Southside, and I would take some personal days from Northrop, catch the drift. I was taking some personal days as a high schooler, and I was going to Southside High School and walking around and joining classes, and I wasn't even on the roll. I was so much a part of Southside High School that when it was time for the showdown, I actually got a chance to perform with Alpha Omega, and I wasn't even a part of the school. All right, so shout out to Nyla Littlejohn and Drew and the rest of those guys that allowed me. I was a sophomore. They were seniors, but I was up there seeing my cousin, my brother Greg. We've been with each other through many transitions from high school to college, to him being my best man. I mean, one of my groomsmen in my wedding, to his supporting the Drawing Board Podcast, the Drawing Board Nation. He was definitely drove all the way from Fort Wayne, Indiana, to Detroit, Michigan for the Drawing Board experience. He served on the staff and made sure that we were all together handling business. So shout out to Greg Starks. He's going to join us later, but his podcast that he currently runs is called Sensible Politics. Sensible Politics. So if you know Greg, Greg is extremely opinionated and never afraid to express what he thinks and feels. So you're going to get a chance to experience him. And then my cousin by marriage, but we call each other brothers. We always greet each other with peace, bro. because we come with peace and blessings, realizing that we reign, we rule, that we're being fruitful, multiplying, increasing, subduing, and taking dominion in this earth realm. Shout out to my brother Wally Richburg, Darius McCaskill. Welcome, my brother.
What's up, bro? How you doing?
Oh man, listen, hey, we doing king stuff. That's what we doing, right?
That's it.
Yeah. And so, and listen, Darius was one of my groomsmen because I got a chance to marry his cousin, who he grew up with, and just accepted me as a brother. And one of the things that I loved about when I met him, I could tell he was checking me out to see what my pedigree was, see what was going on with me, and I was dating his cousin. And for me, that spoke volumes. Why? Because it was this one principle that my mother taught me, that if a young lady's family doesn't come to check you about coming into their life, it means that she hasn't been protected most of her life.
Right. Wow. That's real.
And so she said, when you meet a family and they're checking you, and every cousin you meet and every, whoever is checking you to make sure you on your P's and Q's, it means that they also have been protecting her and looking out for her entire life. Right. And so, hey, man, listen, hey, we family. So I'm excited to have you. And I love you, bro. Yes, sir.
For the 100 show.
100 show.
100.
Yes, sir. Hey, D, when I was hitting you up, man, and the struggle was real, and just had a vision and an idea, and you would be there, man, as a thought partner, a prayer partner, somebody to encourage me and support me. Like that means that's a million, man. Thank you for and always challenging me too, man. So I'm gonna drop this clues bomb on them as if I was on the Breakfast Club. I'm gonna drop this bomb on them. Man, when I was so angry years ago, because I was unjustly let go from a position, you said, Dre, you can't attract to you what God has for you if your heart's not right.
Right. That's right.
Yeah. And so, man, listen, I'm just dropping bombs today, man.
Right.
You can tell I'm excited. Yes, sir. And so I took that wisdom, and as you can tell, man, when your heart is right, you attract to you. And I know that you can vibe with definitely the great Lauryn Hill. She said, how you gonna win when you ain't right within?
That's real.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then my brother Fresh Laundry, Theophilus Smith, came all the way from Fort Wayne, Indiana to Detroit, Michigan to participate in the drawing board experience. Listen, man, you blazed the show, Theo. I don't know how you did it, man. You were painting a live piece. You were talking to the audience. You were painting the live piece upside down. And then you were even throwing in some of your Jamaican vibes talking about booyaka.
Man, I need another trip, man.
Hey, listen. June 2021, the drawing board experience is going down again.
Let's go.
Yes, sir. And so, man, you happen to be married to a young lady, Dawn, who I grew up and went to school with her. And man, to see you all killing the game, I know that you were able to, you did the art for her book that she released. You're around Fort Wayne, Indiana, just painting the town, murals everywhere. They're getting ready to change it from Fort Wayne to Theo Town to Fresh Laundry,
That's
and
everywhere.
Yes, sir. Hey, man, I see people are shooting music videos in front of your artwork. I see that your artwork made it all the way to London. I mean, I see celebrities, hanging your artwork. Everyone from Spike Lee to Super Scent to Andre Ebron. I mean,
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, it's going down. It's going down. So I would be remiss, brothers. I want to launch this one in the air. This question, as we approach. Today is also, election day, right? So just want to put that out there, man. Like, how important is voting in your household? How did you approach this election? Any thoughts, any ideas? I want to go ahead and just address the elephant in the room so that we can talk about this excellent partnership that we're getting ready to launch. But I would be remiss of my responsibilities without lifting the fact that we need to go out and vote. What do you all think?
Right. Oh, most definitely. I definitely believe we all got to go out and vote. I mean, it's a duty of ours. And then, I mean, also, it's how can you complain when you're not speaking your mind and you're not doing that? The first thing you're doing that is through your vote. So that is the big elephant in the room. I mean, and I could say, for us as a people, you know, that's our number one thing that we need to do. Definitely go out and vote.
Yes, sir. I see little cuz in the background too. All right. Yeah, no, we family men around here, so no, that's all good. Yes, sir. What about you, Theo?
I know with us, man, it was definitely some praying times, first and foremost. Making sure that we are getting the understanding about who's doing what and who's leading our nation. I think that's important. Those are values. I'll even say this, man. I watched something today. Even if a person did not vote, it's still okay. And the reason why I say it is because you may not understand it fully of why you should vote, but in all you're getting, get understanding, I say. And I think some people, they feel like if I don't vote, it's something wrong with me, or, you know, I don't want people to feel any kind of way, because I try to do it with the love of Christ first and foremost, because they just don't know. But I will say for my household, we definitely had to make sure that we voted. We battled, you know, make sure that we, like I said, cross our eyes and dotted our T's, and vice versa.
Right.
But make sure that we had that understanding, and then not only just from like who's going to be our next president, but then also down to who's leading us locally as well too. Right. I think that's part of things some people don't actually like look into, and seeing who their judges is in their state, and seeing who's doing what on a local level, of saying the yes and no's in their community and making those decisions. So I think we need to be up to the table, and we need to vote. We need to get some understanding. So this one even more so, it definitely kind of perked on my ears, like, okay, who's doing what around here? I need to know who they are first name basis. So it's important.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no, listen, man. I definitely agree. One of the things that I will say is that when we talk about engaging the systems that govern the land, it is important that we participate. There's a huge narrative out there that talks about, you know, well, if people won't make space for you at the table, then you need to construct your own table, and that has its place, right? For sure, I believe that, you know, first of all, God has a plan for our life. Then through our decision, it leads us to a destination, our destiny. So I think that our destiny is encased in the decisions that we make. And so when you are a part of a system, if you don't incorporate your voice, then you are still subject to whatever the system decides. My personal view on it is, yes, when we look at the personalities of the people, when we look at their work ethic, when we look at their history, both candidates have some things that they, to the American people, need to answer for. Like remembering that the presidential office, according to the system, how they've said it, I'm talking about how they said it, not necessarily how it's exercised, but that the presidential office is a public office that's there to serve the people. The local offices, these people who occupy these positions are supposed to be public servants with the people's best interests at mind. Right. And if you've done business in any shape or form, you know that it is bifurcated in its stance, meaning that that person has a responsibility to fully materialize the objectives of the organization or the system, as well as meet the needs of the people. But what we see a lot of times in our public systems is that the objective of the organization or the system begins to outweigh the needs of the people, and sometimes victimizes the marginalized and the minoritized. So if we do not engage, if we do not vote, what we're saying is that we're positioning ourselves, honestly, for more enslavement and for more victimization. Like, we have people who have died for this vote. Definitely. And while I understand, like, until you're fully informed, or Dr. Maya Angelou would say, when you know better, this is an old adage in our community. When we know better, then we would do better. But my thing is this, like, I want you to feel conviction to know that your vote, your privilege to vote, it is soaked in the blood of your ancestors, right? And so, so if you elect not to vote, that blood speaks not just for you, but it speaks to you, right? So that's what I'm saying. Get out and vote. Listen, the polls don't close to 8 o'clock. Let's go. All right. So now that we have addressed that elephant in the room, my question, man, in every shape, form, or facet, whether you as a family man, businessman, your self identity. What does the drawing board mean to you? I throw that to both you, D, and to you, Theo. What does the drawing board mean to you personally? What you say, Darius, Wally Richburg? What does it mean, my brother?
So a drawing board, I mean, basically, that's just basically you setting up your own easel with your drawing board on there, and then you just painting a picture. Like we always talk about it, like in the morning when you're getting ready. You know what I'm saying? Start speaking life. Start speaking how your day is going to go. That's what the drawing board is for your whole life experience. I mean, for one, when you sit back and you look at your life, and you can say or think to yourself, I want this to happen. I want this to happen. Chances are it's going to happen if you speak it. Chances are it's going to happen if you draw it. If you write out your day, it's going to happen. So the thing is about the drawing experience is basically giving us a chance to draw how we want to do, bring in other motivations from other people, us collectively, and and just basically put together our experience and and grow from there. So that's the drawing board for me, man.
Yes, sir. Now, do me before Theo responds. Like, walk me through, man. What's been? And I know you've had several, but just a practical point, man, where you yourself had to go to the drawing board and you saw. I know you real big into speaking those things that be not as though they were, manifesting what it is that you think and believe, confessing those things, right? So take us through, man. Just like give us a practical experience of that. Show us how to do it.
So, so how to draw? How to draw?
Yes, sir.
Get you some pens, and those pens could be your faith. You know what I mean? That's one of the things that I use. Before I start drawing, I make sure my faith is right. You can't do anything without your faith. And I just remember times where I built things in my life that wasn't but that wasn't solid. You know what I mean? So it fell. But when I built things based on faith, it stayed and endured. So when I go to draw, I make sure I got my faith right. I make sure that my mind is right. You know what I mean? So I can get a very, very vivid picture. You know what I mean? So that's it.
Hey, man, that's an excellent point, man. So, and we're going to explore that more later in the conversation. What are the tools or the pens needed to approach the drawing board, right? So when we're talking about challenging people to examine their life and to reimagine the possibilities, there may be a lot of people who are standing right in front of the drawing board like, I really want to draw something, but I have no idea where to start. And I think faith is a critical point, a great starting point.
Right. Absolutely.
Yep. Theo, what about you, man? What does the drawing board mean to you?
Man, so I'm gonna tell you what the drawing board means to me in real time. I was gonna be real discreet with like a decent background and everything like that, but I'm literally in the heart of the drawing board.
Yes, sir.
Me and some friends are out right now preparing to do a wall mural after this.
All right.
But the drawing board means to me is putting once more, just like him, your faith into action, but also your understanding and your awareness. So I'm literally in the heart of Fort Wayne. We're in the south side of town of Fort Wayne, and this is one of the first big murals that's going in the city.
Yes, sir.
It's by four Black artists. And what we're doing is what it means to me to be a part of the drawing board is literally writing the vision and making it plain. What that means to me as well too is you can apply it to everything community and also yourself as well too. For me, being able to first intake and understand of what I can do and then be able to put it on paper or writing the vision and making it plain, to being able to go from there to actually put it in the steps, to actually bringing it to life, to actually seeing the end result. So if you go in with the end in mind, you cannot lose.
Oh, that's excellent. So essentially, man, what you just ironed out for us was in real time, especially for those who are from the greater Fort Wayne area, we know that the South Side, man, it was a booming area where, I grew up, where a lot of us grew up. And so the question I have, man, as you are participating in the revitalization of it, and here's what I'm going to take a point right there for all of my politicians, everybody that's listening, people who are making decisions, our communities in the African-American neighborhoods, they don't need to be gentrified. They need to be revitalized. That is the change that needs to come. They need to be revitalized. They need to be rebuilt. Rebuilt means that it existed at one time. There was something of value. They don't need to be gentrified. They need to be revitalized. So as you go, man, you're getting ready to paint that mural on the wall, drawing board in real time. Is literally, I ask people this question, D and Theo, have you exhausted the possibilities that currently exist within your opportunities? Have you exhausted the possibilities that exist within your current opportunities? And most in generally, the answer is no, because we only are looking at it from one vantage point, right? So Theo, I got a chance to see you paint, man. D, I've got a chance to see you work. And when we talk, and what I love about it is that you take steps away from what you're doing to get another vantage point, to get another perspective before you go, when you get ready to go back to that drawing board, when you go back with your faith, when you go back to with those pens, D, that you're talking about. And so as we're looking at our country, like literally election day, we dove in, right? And now it's time to take a step back, reimagine what the possibilities are within the current opportunity, and then go to work. So let me ask you something, man. Just as a business, both of you guys are business owners. You hit the market. I believe that almost every market is saturated because everybody's trying to do, similar things. And I know just basic business talks about identifying what your unique selling proposition is. But tell me, man, when you entered the market, both of you with Fresh Laundry, with the Viger Corp, man, Viger Group, talk to me, man. Where did those ideas germinate from? Where did they come from? First, D, tell me, what is the Viger Group, brother?
Viger Group is basically a company. All right, so let me break it down to you. Right after I had my clothing brand, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start this company. And my goal with the company was to basically create a group where I can have a bunch of individuals that can run multiple businesses, and we all partner up together, and we all, form a group. So what ended up happening was the experiences that I went through, the knowledge that I accrued, working with a lot of my different clients, I started setting up multiple businesses. So a lot of these businesses actually formed up under the umbrella, which was the Viger Group. I run the company, you know what I mean, but I also look for different partners to manage my different projects, and also to bring on other projects where I can help them as well. So that's basically the formation of the Viger Group.
Oh, that's excellent. So listen, let me go ahead and let them know that those the buttery soft cotton, the buttery soft tees that you saw everybody talking about and posting, that said the Drawing Board Nation, the one that had the two-tone gray and black. I'll just put it out there. The Viger Group, they are the ones that handled all my printing. They handled all my labels. They handled he made sure that I had he helped me upgrade and level up as far as the quality of the shirt that I was printing. And listen, I don't know if I should let the cat out the bag, but we got a big project that's coming down the line. And so I'll hold it. I'll hold off. But I do want people to know that the Viger Group is solely responsible for helping me get that merchandise out. So salute to you, man. I appreciate it. And help me. And thank you for helping me with that work. So listen, Theo, Fresh Laundry, man. You hanging laundry in London? You hanging laundry in Fort Wayne? Like, tell me how it started, brother.
Man, it started, man, literally in a load of dirty clothes. And I didn't have an identity of myself, and I found myself sobbing in a load of clothes. And fast forwarding, man, it was like I got this revelation that pretty much God talked to me, created me a clean heart, renew a right spirit, or a steadfast spirit within me. And I related that to being like literally in my dirty clothes to like me hanging fresh laundry. So anytime that I hang my artwork, I hang that as my laundry. And with that, I'm a man of many hats. I'm a muralist. I am an artist. I'm an art director. I'm an art consultant. I am an art, pretty much anything you got your hands in, I know something of. And with that, I'm able to create witty things and ways and perspectives to create with all kind of walks of life. And I think that was the ultimate goal. The cherry on top of everything is the art is a byproduct. but it's more so to bring people together and gain understanding and knowledge of everybody, every creed, every color of people, to be able to find art in these spaces, but more so make conversational pieces or create conversation about who's who in the world and how can we come together. And this happened to be through art. I just happened to be chosen to do it with.
So let me ask you, Theo. In specifically in America, man, what they talk about in our community specifically, they talk about this generational divide, right? Where the wisdom to move forward is still locked in the hearts and the mind of our elders, and the innovation to create a new is in the hearts of our young people. Or they call what the Bible says, they call the old man because he's wise and the young man because he's strong. But if there's not a conversation happening where the wisdom and the strength can combine, how can we leverage art? Or in what way are you leveraging art, man, to heal that generational divide?
It's funny you mention that, and it's even happening, like I said, even on right here at this mural right here, it starts with your day-to-day walk. I literally had a chance before I started on this mural project that we're doing. A little kid came off a school bus and asked me, "Hey, what are you doing here?" And I was like, "Hey, I'm here to paint something in your community. What do you think should go on this wall?" And so being able to engage with generationally, but then also give them some spearhead of what I'm going to put on this wall, which is going to be literally simple. The word truth is going on this wall. The big word, like literally truth, and some witty abstract designs are going onto the wall. Well, I have to walk them through of why I did this and what is it going to do for him in this community, and how many people is going to bypass this place every day to see this. It'll be hundreds upon thousands of people that's going to be able to see this mural. So I'm engaging and bridging that gap, and I think that's being an artist. You happen to dabble with a lot of either generational or just people in general, and I'm able to have, like I said, conversation in depth, and that's me bridging the gap, if you will. That's me versus being a ladder and just trying to climb to my next destination. I'm trying to be a bridge. So I'm trying to be an avenue between generationals, where you go to like a family reunion or something like that, and all the kids are hanging out together, and all old people hanging out together. I'm that person that wants to be able to bridge the gap between both generations. That way we could be on one accord with things.
You know, man, I got a challenge for you. I always have challenges, as you know, on my show. And so I want another piece. I want another piece of artwork, okay? And here's what I want, man. I want it to reflect this principle: wisdom and strength, right? And I wanted that scripture that talks about we call the old because they're wise and the young because they're strong. I don't know what you're gonna paint. I don't even want to dictate, what it would look like. But I want that piece. As soon as you finish with it, I'm on it. That'll be my second piece of fresh laundry that I'm hanging in Ebron Estates.
Challenge accepted. I take it.
All right. And D, let me ask you, brother. You redefine what people generally think of when they call a creative, because you are a creative as well, and your medium happens to be business. Tell me, D, how are you bridging the gap, brother, between the older generation and the younger generation, the wisdom and the strength through your work? How do you combine those two?
Well, that's a good question. I think what I do is basically I always try to form a platform. With me being able to create a platform, so you may have I get a lot of older people that may basically say, okay, I worked 20 plus years at this job, so now I'm looking to start my own business. So I'll basically kind of lay out the blueprint for them so they can start their own business. At the same time, I'll get a lot of young people that say, hey, I'm looking to be an entrepreneur. Sometimes I connect the young with the old, to form something that's greater than, like you said, bring the wisdom, and you bring the youth and the vitality, and and then there you go. You may have something happening. So that's kind of how I like to do it. I just like to bridge people together.
Yeah, when I think about you, D, honestly, man, you become the amalgamation of both of those the strength and the youth, the wisdom and the strength. Yeah, I see the gray kicking in. I see it. But actually, like getting the chance, just the spirit, the youth in your spirit, your strength, and your courage to try new things, and if anybody has had a chance to engage with you in any conversations, one thing that I know is that you always see the possibility, right? Like no is never a consideration. Like, right. This is what we want to do. This is we'll figure out the how, but the possibility definitely exists. And I think that's where faith and hope meet. And so you within yourself embody like that principle of being in a generation where you were around the older people to gain the wisdom, and then experientially you got 30 plus years as an entrepreneur,
Right.
and then you keep your ear to the streets so that the youth are still there speaking because you're willing to listen.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, and then man, I just want to say I love what you're doing with your family. You have your daughter that's an entrepreneur, and you're teaching your children about ownership, and so I think that's huge, man. Of course, I can't shout out the children without shouting out your wife, Crystal. Yes. Shout out to Crystal. Definitely, yes. she's killing the game, and appreciate what's happening at McCaskill Manor over there. Yes, sir. So listen, talk to the people, man. When we talk about the Viger Group meets Fresh Laundry meets Stark Reality, and we all converge under this umbrella called the Drawing Board, man, what's some things that you just vision cast that you see potentially happening? Start with you, Theo. What do you see, brother?
I can see not only because, of course, the podcast is doing very, very well. I see an app in the future. I can see something that you relate to people on a day-to-day basis, whether it be something like a quote of yours or something of a value figure, to be able to kind of help jumpstart the day or the week. I can also see, I don't know, just another book.
All right. Yes, sir.
I think we can't go wrong with another book. I think it's necessary, especially from a Black male's perspective, man. I think it's necessary right now. And it's important. But between those two things, that app is going to be key. That's going to be some life-changing things.
Okay, listen, I received challenge accepted. And listen, I don't have to go far to make the app happen. The only thing I have to do is say to the Viger Group, hey, listen, we need to get an app popping.
Let's go.
All
right.
I think that's a green light.
Yeah, I like that. What do you think, D? What do you see, man? Just vision cast. What do you see happening from this convergence?
You're already doing it. I mean, like I said before with the conference, I think that's going to be one of the biggest platforms that you're going to create. It's just the conference. I told you before, I see a huge conference. After this pandemic is over, thousands of people just formulate, people getting advice, people getting, building off experience, people just, just catching that whole vibe of what you're doing. And I think a lot of people need to hear that. And then also just you being able to just you alone. I mean, just from what you do, your tenacity and all of that, that's being shown. Like I told you before, that was always a test. You know what I mean? So that test is getting us to right here. So that test creates that energy, that same energy that you're delivering right now. So like with you actually give me that energy. You know what I mean? So it's like, I can see you giving that energy to thousands and thousands of people, upon thousands of people. So that's why I see the drawing board going, man.
Oh, I received that. And listen, both of you brothers have, we believe that by faith. So we consider that already done. We spoke it out. It's going to happen. It's coming to pass. And I'll be honest with you, man, I'm going to vision cast what I would love to see because there are so many local voices I feel that aren't receiving the type of acknowledgement or platform to make a difference in their community, whether it's because of gatekeepers, whether it's because of lack of resources, whether there are a myriad of different factors that could be trying to suppress this next voice. And so what I want to do, man, is I want to travel across the nation and then reach out to the world. I want to do a drawing board in every urban area within America. So I want to do a drawing board, LA. I want to do a drawing board, Dallas. I want to do a drawing board, Atlanta. I want to do a drawing board, Fort Wayne. I want to do, and I'm talking about the conference. And then we'll have one large conference where, we'll be able to have all of the people in the nation converge in that one area. And so, man, listen, it's going down. Drawing board Cleveland. Name some other urban areas. Like, I want to be there because I think some of the greatest answers lie among the people who have had the greatest struggle. So yeah, that's where we're headed, man. I'm geeked. I'm excited about that. And when we talk about revitalizing Fort Wayne, Theo, listen, man, we have I think the work that you and I are going to collaborate on as it relates to the drawing board, man, it's going to phenomenally impact what's happening on the South Side. So yeah, Theo, tell me, man, and I'm putting you on the spot. This is all just organic. What is your vision that you have for the South Side of Fort Wayne?
I want to know. Well, I want people to know, not just because people already on the South Side know of their value. I want people to know that's in this city and in this state, because we're the second largest city that's in Indiana. To know what kind of potential that we have here, what kind of young professionals that we have here that's on the South Side. I'm a product from the South Side. I grew up I'm an implant here as well too. So coming from St. Louis by way of Detroit to here, who would ever thought I was in Detroit first and then came here? South Side.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Shout out to Oak Park area, Southfield.
All
But
right.
Mr. Corned beef sandwiches, but but being in Fort, but being in Fort Wayne, man, it has this stigma of like being from the South Side of town that it's no good here or it's always trouble here. But most places, if you go out west, 80% of the money cash flow is coming from the South Side of town alone, from to the west side, and that's like a kind of a more prestige area, if you will. But I want people to know that you have a lot of people that come from this area that has done great things, and we're still developing great things on the South Side of town. And like I said, I'm literally an example. I'm literally out here right now, getting ready to make sure that I'm doing my part to make sure that my city is beautiful everywhere. And I sit on a lot of platforms and everything like that, and I know a lot of connections. But it's important that I'm here doing this project even today. So that's definitely my goal, to make sure that the South Side is beautiful, is thriving, and for give people a second look and understanding that, hey, if you could trust me to be over here, you can trust anybody else to come over here too.
Listen, I firmly agree. And with you mentioning that, Theo, like, take me to remember we were talking about the idea. For me, I'm always curious in an artist's mind, and it's different for different people. Talk to me
Sure.
about what happens in between each brushstroke. So like so like watching you paint, for me, like I'm trying to think. I'm like, what is happening in his mind, his heart, his spirit in between each brushstroke? When I see you put put the pen, let me say, and I'm using something figurative and literal. When I say brushstrokes, I'm also talking about what Darius was saying, like in between activating your faith in your own personal life. What happens between the brushstroke, the activation, and the application, right? Like whatever happens there determines what happens next. So talk to me, Theo. What is the process, my brother, between what happens between brushstrokes?
Man, it's the synergy, man. It's that's the best way to describe it. Synergy of knowing that my next move, I move in confidence, that I move in boldness, because of course it may look similar to where I've been through a far experience, but it set me up for something greater, and it's for a bigger picture. So not only just physically, but literally and figuratively, that anything that I put my mind to, if I can do it with this experience, my next experience is going to be greater. And so, for example,
Absolutely.
if I'm painting and I'm in my zone, I have every thought and emotion and action in one stroke, where I can think about everything that's going on. Like, for example, when I was on stage, I remember everything that happened, every emotion, every feeling that I was feeling during that time. So if I could take that and capture that into my everyday life, I'm even learning that now to how was I feeling at the moment, or was I confident in this area, or was I scared, was I angry, was I inspired, and I'm taking all these emotions and making sure I'm putting them into a safe place where I can have them on display to know what I need to do better at, or hold back from, if that makes sense.
No, that makes, listen, that makes tons of sense. And we Darius had to run, so it's you and I. And I
Yeah, let's get.
understand if you have to run as well, because I
No, we here,
listen.
man.
I know the daylight. I know that you're out there, but hey, listen. I think you said something very key, Theo, that I want to highlight for a second. You said in between brushstrokes, you were able to determine, which means you were self-aware. Not only
Yes.
were you confident, you were self-aware. And so in light of whatever happens with this election, people should make decisions from a awareness place. And you said you have to give your emotions a safe place. Let's talk about that for a second. Giving your the seat of your emotions, which I know happens to be your soul, your mind, your will, your emotions. So what I'm really talking about is the seat of the soul, right? That's a book. Somebody should check that out. But let's literally like finding a safe place for your emotions. Unpack that for me. What does that mean?
It's definitely unpacking it. So twofold. First, for unpacking, you have to give yourself permission to unpack. You have to have the awareness and understanding that you can unpack. But then also, too, are you doing it into a manner where it is healthy? And I think a lot of people, they just, you see a lot of people that are, whether it be angry, and they'll show it in their actions. And, first, a man that thinking is, in his mind, so shall he be, correct? So
absolutely.
Wherever you take those emotions, but versus you have to separate the feelings from the truth. And I think first you have to unpack. So me being able to paint everything out, or being able to have a safe place to unpack or debrief, and then re-examine of, hey, why did I do this, or what is this reason for? Why is my actions this way, or why is my emotion this way? But then also, too, let's go to the emotion side as well, too, because sometimes our emotions can be tricky and it could fail us. I know my emotions change like a baby's diaper sometimes.
Listen, I'm with you, brother.
But then also, does it make it right, though? So just because I may have displayed something in my emotions or acted on my emotions, did it line up with my truth or my values or my standards or even God's standards? I think once we have a safe place to be able to unpack that and do whatever we need to do and reevaluate and genuinely do such, we'll be okay in the long run. And not only will we give ourselves permission, but then we'll have the guts to bring in somebody else and say, hey, do you mind if you check on me or tell me how I am? And I give you permission to do so too. A lot of people
that's called accountability.
Accountability. Yeah. So when you're gathered,
there he is. Hey, listen, let me tell you. I was Chantel Smith from Fort Wayne.
Yeah.
She put a quote up today that said, sometimes accountabilities can feel like someone is attacking you when you're not prepared to realize how your actions could be potentially harming someone. And I'm paraphrasing, and I said, oh man, listen, that was a gem, because when someone's trying to hold you accountable in an area where you haven't matured to the point to take ownership of your actions and how even if your intent is right, and that's where your intent can be 100% in the right place, but the impact of your actions could cause someone harm. And so people say, well, I didn't mean it that way. Well, I understand you didn't mean it that way, but the impact of your actions harms someone. And so now you, being self-aware, need to take ownership to heal the harm. That's essentially what I do every day in schools with restorative practices, right? To restore where the harm has taken place. So listen, man, Theo, brother, I know it's a quarter till, and man, I appreciate you fully coming on the 100th show, my brother. Listen, and we're going to pray for those. I don't want to end without acknowledging those who are on the front line, serving as essential workers. We are still in the midst of a global pandemic. It is impacting others in different ways. So we're praying for those who have been impacted in their health and or finance. Let me just declare this before I let you go, Theo. The Bible declares that, guess what? That the angels shall rise, talking about Christ, with healing in his wings. The Bible also declares that he was wounded for our transgressions, bruised for our iniquities, that the chastisement of our peace was upon him, and with his stripes that we are healed. Isaiah 53 and 5. 1 Peter 2 and 24 confirms that in the New Testament. Then we get a chance to see Isaiah 55:11 tells us that so shall our word be that goeth forth out of our mouth. It shall not return unto us void, but it shall accomplish that which we please and prosper whereunto the thing it has been sent. So right now we send healing to every person that is afflicted in their body. And in the New Testament, the New Covenant, sickness, disease, and infirmity are illegal in the body of the believer. All we have to do is to declare our rightful authority and take dominion. And every root of sickness, infirmity, and disease was either one or two things: a poor choice on how we chose to govern our life with what we consume, and or a spiritual attack. And if it's a spiritual attack, then we as believers have the right to arrest that infirmity spirit and to declare that it must go in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen. And so I just had to release that really quick to all of my brothers and sisters, and then to those who are afflicted in their finances. The Bible declares that our God shall supply what? All of your needs according to his riches and glory by Christ Jesus. He then begins to tell us that if we being evil know how to give good gifts to our children, how much more will our Heavenly Father give unto us? The Bible says that Jesus told us, he said, whatever you ask in my name, that he'll give it to you. He said, so what? Whatever you pray to the Father in my name, believing that you receiving, you shall have it. So I want to move some mountains right quick, Theo. The Bible says that if we agree on earth, it shall be done of the Father which is in heaven. So we agree that every mountain of debt, that every mountain of sickness, that every mountain of discouragement, that every mountain of anxiety, that every mountain of violence and affliction, that it is moved now, cast into the sea, and guess what? It won't come into you again. Somebody saying, Ebron, I've been sick and I've been sick again. Well, the Bible says the curse comes not causeless, but this sickness, this infirmity shall not come again to you a second time. You better speak that word of faith. When you feel that symptomatic piece, speak a word of faith and watch your body have to obey. Amen. So all that being said, listen, this is the drawing board. All right.
That's the board. That's the blueprint actually of everything that you're doing. I'm sorry, I have to say that everything that a person is going through, the blueprint is speaking, believing, and moving.
Yes, sir.
Faith without work is dead, man. So this is the foundation of the blueprint. This is the foundation of the drawing board.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, listen, man, I have thoroughly enjoyed our time together. This is just the beginning. Man, the project that you and I have on deck, man, listen, I can't wait to give you that call this week to let you know, hey, items received. And listen, I can't wait, bro. And I'll be headed to Fort Wayne shortly thereafter. Everything is, man, I can't let the cat out the bag. I'll wait. Fire. But again, I tell people this, Theo. I want them to know, how can they find you, though? Where can they find you at?
So you can find me at freshlaundry.com. Of course, fresh is spelled differently. It's spelled with PHRESH laundry.com. Or if you find me on Instagram at that laundry. And that way, if you want to just chop it up, let's talk more in life, like in real life. Those are my outlets to hit me up. And I love to talk to you. I love to hear from people, not just on art, but just swapping life with each other. Because guess what? At the end of the day, we all here together. So let's talk.
Yes, sir. So I close this out with this, Theo. Our future is not behind us. It is not before us. It is within us. And this is the Drawing Board Podcast, the 100th show. And listen, show 101 is getting ready to be bananas. So if you have supported us in any way, please make sure you comment on this video. If you have any questions and or concerns, please comment on the video. Listen, the first person to drop a comment in the video about how you felt, supported or not, I have a book and a shirt that I'll mail directly to you. You see the new merch I got on? Yeah, it's the blue sweatshirt. Also, I got another project coming out. It's called Here I Am. Let me see. Here I Am, based upon 1 Samuel chapter 3, verse 4. Read that again. Before Samuel ever runs to Eli, he hears the Lord's voice and he says, Here I am. And then he runs He runs to Eli and said, "Did you call me?" So here's something we got to know, Theo. Our dreams may change. Our goals may change. Our ambition may change. But our gifts, our callings, and our purpose never changes.
Never.
So, hey, listen, we can chop it up forever, man. So to all the listeners, first person to drop the comment in there about how the drawing board has impacted them, you get a shirt and you get a book. And we say peace to you. All right, Theo, I know you're getting ready to go out there and create, man, something crazy out there. In fact, let's end it by saying truth.
Truth. I love it.
All right, bro. Peace.